I used to think that I'm the only one struggling to make decisions. I always looked for a way out or find people to get involved so I can make the process of making decision easy for myself. I always looked for other options. But I finally realized that I'm not the only one dealing with this conflict. And it was pulling me back. It wasn't letting me go forward and make the right decision. It's important to understand we're not alone. And we all have to make decisions time after the time that we're not proud of. Or maybe it's simply we don't like. And that could be anything from work, family, school, or even what we eat throughout the day, or just few examples of the decisions that we have to make constantly in our brain. And we're not happy with all of them. But it's time for us to take a stand for what we believe. What may make sense to us, not others. We need to forget about others, forget about luck, and focus on what actually matters to us. That's the most important part. We forget about ourselves so many times that we get lost and distracted by the world that we created around ourselves. This is where the paradox of choice comes into play. Now, this is a really nice book written by Barry Schwartz that mainly focuses on what makes us happy. We are finding ways to do what gives meaning to our lives without eliminating our desires. And it's important to sometimes take a stand for what we like and take away the things that are distracting us. We have so many things that are pulling us back and they don't let us go forward. We need to understand what those things are and eliminate them. Doesn't matter if they're people, if they're things, if they're belonging, whatever it is. That's where the process of minimalism comes into play. And it's important to practice it times after the time. The paradox argues that by eliminating our choices, we can significantly reduce our anxiety and create a mindset that helps us make better decisions when it comes to our day-to-day lifestyle. When making decisions, try to use both sides of your brain. This sounds a little tricky, but check it out. Let me explain this to you. Our brain is divided into two sides, the right side and the left side. Now each side is called a hemisphere, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. Yeah, easy. Now, the right hemisphere is responsible to control our left side of our body and is the creative side. It's the side that makes everything fun. It's our heart, it's our desire. And the left side, in contrary, is in charge of the right side of our body, and it's the more logical side of our brain. Now, here's where it becomes tricky. Both our decision-making and idea-generating processes starts in the left frontal cortex of our brain. But if there isn't enough emotion behind this process, the part of your brain that is called the nucleus accumbens, or NAC, will not activate. And if the NAC isn't activated, dopamine, which is that feeling good neurotransmitter that recognizes reward and gets shoot out to your brain, won't be released into your body. And it will make it really unlikely for things to be done. Basically, you're not gonna be motivated when making each decision, and it becomes a burden. And decisions made from the comfort zone of your brain end up benefiting you just at the moment and making things wrong and hard in the long run. And sometimes it's not gonna go well. So use them both. When it comes to the right side and when it comes to the left side, it's important to focus on yourself, not others. Think what you like to do, what is benefiting you right now, and what can help you grow who you are in future. Simply because they thought, oh, I'm not gonna use emotion for it. Or, oh, I'm not gonna use logic for it. And then it ends up crumbling our life, make everything hard. It shouldn't be like that. Life should be fun. And if the decision that you are making today is not making your life fun, maybe it's time to sit down and see what's the point. If we're not having fun, if we're not enjoying the process, then the result, how can we enjoy the result? It's just not gonna give you that pleasure. You know, it's like buying something handmade versus buying something that is made in factory. Yes, something that is made in factory may be better, but if something you make by your hand and then you know the process of it, it just gives you that good feeling, that good sense, like you have accomplished something. Try it. Try it. When making your next decision, eliminate every single outside perspective from your brain. Just eliminate it. Put it aside, put it inside of a bag, leave it outside. Go to your room, go somewhere quiet, sit down and think to yourself, how is this benefiting me and what do I feel about it? Think about your heart. Use your heart. That's what's important. Do you feel for it? And if you feel for it, the dopamine will be released inside of your body, going crazy, giving you that excitement. Yes, I'm doing this because it feels good. I'm not exercising simply because I know it's the logical thing to do. That's because a lot of New Year's resolution gets crashed because when New Year comes, we say, oh, I'm gonna exercise every day. 30 minutes, 10 minutes. It's logical, you have to exercise, but do you really like exercising? If not, then you have to go inside of your brain, find out, how can I love it? Okay, I went inside of my brain and I saw that I love tennis, so every day I'm gonna do something about tennis or about soccer, or something like that. And the dopamine gets released. Oh, I'm going to do something that I love. Stop the logical part of your brain and stop the emotional part of your brain. And the emotional part is not as good as the logical part. Think about it. How many times has it happened that you go out to eat something and then you get excited, you say, yeah, I want this, and then you eat the whole thing, and then you go home and you're like, oh, why did I do that? Then logic kicks in and you're like, I just wasted a week of dieting just because I made a wrong decision in a split of a second. But you see your emotion, you're hungry, you look at your logic, you say, okay, I've been dieting for a week, but I'm hungry right now, so I'm gonna get one thing that I like and I'm gonna take another thing that I like, and moderation, being in the middle. That's what it comes down to.